Selhurst Park had seen it all, the roars of the faithful, the near misses, the heartbreaks. But in the grand halls of English football, Crystal Palace remained a name associated more with potential than triumph. Founded in 1905, the South London club had always been a curious tale. The Eagles were a club with the infrastructure of a giant and the silverware of a minnow. Relegation scraps, promotion battles, fleeting Premier League stability. Palace's legacy was one of survival, not success. The closest they ever came to major glory was the 1990 FA Cup final. Against Manchester United, Palace pushed Sir Alex Ferguson's side to the brink. A thrilling 3-3 draw in the first match sent fans into rapture. But in the replay, the fairy tale collapsed. A 1-0 loss, with a goal from Lee Martin, left fans in tears. That defeat didn't just sting, it haunted generations. In 2016, they got another chance. Again, it was Manchester United. Again, it was Wembley. Again, it ended in heartbreak. Jason Punchin gave Palace the lead, only for Juan Mata to equalize minutes later. Jesse Lingard's stunning extra-time goal broke South London hearts anew. Those failures weren't just painful, they cemented an identity. Crystal Palace, the nearly men, the valiant losers. The club that danced at the edge of glory, only to trip at the final step. But football, like time, never stands still. And sometimes, the past is merely prologue. It wasn't one moment that turned the tide, it was a mosaic of decisions. And it started quietly in the summer of 2023. Roy Hodgson, the elder statesman who had steered the club with calm, stepped aside. In his place came a bold appointment. Will Still, the 31-year-old Belgian-English manager, known more for his data-driven philosophy than traditional tactics. Many fans were skeptical. Could someone so young handle the Premier League? Still's vision was radical. High pressing, positional play, and fearless youth integration. We won't outspend the big boys, he told the press. But we can outthink them. Behind him stood a revamped recruitment team led by Dougie Freedman. Their targets weren't household names but smart buys. Benjamin Sesko, a towering Slovenian striker who could bully defenders and drift wide. Alan Varela, a relentless Argentine midfielder who dictated tempo. Jezuran Raksaki, returning from loan, was given freedom on the right flank. And then there was Eberechi Eze, whose development reached new heights. Freed from rigid systems, he flourished. A player who could glide past defenders, score screamers, and create from nothing. The 2023-24 season began with cautious optimism. Palace weren't title contenders. They weren't even top six. But they were different, braver, faster, more unpredictable. By December, they were sitting 8th. And in January, their FA Cup campaign began. Round 3, versus Millwall, a tense South London derby. Sesko scored twice. Eze dazzled. Palace won 3-1. Round 4, versus Leeds United, a cold night at Elland Road. It took penalties. Varela held his nerve. Palace advanced. Round 5, versus Brighton, another rivalry. This time, a war of attrition. A 1-0 win from a Raksaki deflection. Effective. Now whispers began. Could this be their year? The quarter-final was at home against Newcastle United, a club on their own journey to the top. Selhurst Park buzzed with belief. Under the lights, the ground turned electric. Newcastle scored first. Isaac, always dangerous, slotted one past John Stone. Palace responded through Sesko, a thumping header. Then, late in the second half, came the moment of magic. Eze danced through 3 defenders and curled one into the top corner. 2-1. Bedlam. After the match, Eze knelt on the pitch, tears in his eyes. We've been called underdogs our whole lives, he said. This is personal. The semi-final was Wembley. Opponents, Manchester City. The reigning champions had brushed aside Arsenal in the quarters. No one gave Palace a chance. Still, the mood in South London was defiant. City dominated the early exchanges. De Bruyne hit the post. Foden saw a shot saved. But Palace didn't buckle. Varela was immense, cutting off passing lanes like a chess grandmaster. In the 73rd minute, on a rare break, Sesko held the ball up and laid it off to Eze. He surged forward and slipped a pass to Matida, who, against all odds, lifted it past Ederson. 1-0. The final whistle was a siren of disbelief. Crystal Palace were in their first FA Cup final in 9 years. But more importantly, they had beaten a modern dynasty. And they had done it not by sitting deep, but by believing. May 25, 2024. Wembley was a mosaic of red and blue. Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. It wasn't the final the neutrals had expected. But for the fans, it was poetry. Two proud clubs, both starved of silverware. Both desperate. The game began cautiously. Villa controlled possession. Palace countered. In the 39th minute, disaster struck. Varela went down injured. He tried to carry on, but couldn't. Replaced by veteran Luka Milivojevic, Palace's midfield lost its rhythm. Villa pounced. A long ball, a Watkins header, 1-0. Halftime. The dressing room was quiet. Will still spoke softly. You have 45 minutes to rewrite 100 years. They did. Eze led the charge. In the 58th minute, he beat two defenders and crossed for Sesko, who smashed it home. 1-1. Then came the tension. Missed chances. Extra time. In the 112th minute, a corner. Eze curled it in. Chaos in the box. The ball fell to Gehi. Shot. Blocked. Rebound. Rexaki. Goal. 2-1. The final whistle. Selhurst Park erupted in absentia. Fans cried. Old men hugged strangers. Young kids etched the moment into memory. Crystal Palace had won their first ever major trophy. No longer nearly men. No longer just survivors. A week later, a parade wound through Croydon. The FA Cup gleamed atop a red and blue bus. Fans chanted. Players danced. Will still lifted the trophy high, his eyes reflecting disbelief and pride. In the background, a new banner was unveiled at Selhurst Park. FA Cup winners 2024, South London's glory. But more than the trophy, it was the journey that mattered. The belief that grew. The fear that was conquered. The ghosts that were finally laid to rest. Crystal Palace had flown too close to the sun many times. But in 2024, the eagles didn't burn. They soared. Please subscribe, like and share for more interesting stories.